Gospel diva kimburrell. Well, she's back in the news again for some statements that she is making about, well, being prepared. I don't know though, you guys. I think I agree with kimburrell on this one. Let's talk, shall we? How you guys doing out there? Thank you guys so much for clicking the thumbnail over here at Pepe's Point of View. I want to welcome you new viewers, you returning viewers, and you subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Yes, kimburrell, she's back at it again. But I think this time I'm going to say I agree with her. I do. I was going through social media and not necessarily looking for anything. It's just, I just so happened to come across a video of kimburrell, and it looks like, I don't know if it's her church or she's speaking at someone's church. I'm not quite sure, but she is speaking, and basically she's saying, I can't get behind anything. I can't push anything that is not fully developed, all right? And so I was like, okay, I'm listening to her give her example, so on and so forth. And I have to be honest with you. With kimburrell, I am really and truly waiting for the offense to come. You know, a brother offended is harder to win than a strong city. You know, you have to be mindful of those offenses, okay? And so as I'm listening to it, I'm like, I don't see anything wrong with what she's saying. And then I had to stop and ask myself, well, why are you listening to it? What is it about kimburrell's statement that you identify with? Why is it that your set of ears is listening and your thought process is still, you know, for the most part with kimburrell? And I had to say to myself, it's because I'm listening to a singer talk about singing. And that's definitely kimburrell's lane. You know that for sure. Now, what if you talk about people point of views and so on and so forth? It is what it is. You know, we could be there all day about the people differences. But one thing you cannot do, and I don't care who you are out there, is argue with a singer of kimburrell's status, okay, and the years that she's been putting into it, especially as a woman of God as well. And to go back and forth with kimburrell about that, now that is her lane, and I'm here to tell you, if you get into that lane with kimburrell, if you want to, and other, you know, R&B divas out there and gospel divas who've been doing this for a while, and you get in that lane with them, yes, you probably should deserve to be, you know, ate up and spit out and told to have a seat. You don't know what you're talking about. You need to sit down and take some notes from me, honey. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if kimburrell do you like that, I'm looking at it like, well, you shouldn't open up your mouth talking about, you know, kimburrell and her profession and how she feels about it. And so anyway, long story short, so what I'm gathering here in the video is that for the most part, she's pretty much saying, my words, not hers, is that, hey, there is a certain way you should present yourself, you know, when you're at the pulpit. There's a certain way you need to approach this, so to speak. You just can't get up in front of a congregation and think, well, I want to sing. I think I sound good. And you're not able to usher in, you know, the Spirit of God. You're not able to come in and take the congregation into a place of praise and a place of worship, so on and so forth. And if you're upset because the same two people are always being chosen to get up to sing, maybe it's because these two people are prepared to do the job. All right. And if you're not prepared, not said because you want to, But if you are not prepared and you're up here doing weird things, then maybe you need to have a seat and sit down somewhere. And I think I'm going to have to agree with her. Again, I'm listening to a singer talk about singing. I'm listening to a singer who sings in the church. That's what she does. And you have to respect Kimburrell on that. I don't care what you say at this moment in time. I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you and basically say that's her lane. She understands that for sure. And you can say what you want to say. Now, she probably offended you about other things, but when it comes to that, I just really truly don't see how Kimburrell can offend someone when it comes down to, her profession. I'll give you a prime example. And then I'm going, well, let me ask this question. When are you ready? When is a person ready regarding anything? Should a person wants to sing, when should they do their first, show? Or when should they sing in front of an audience? A person, wants to be a musician. When should they, decide to play in front of people? All right. Anything along those lines. I remember back in high school, okay, I finally decided that I was going to participate in extracurricular activities, and I decided that I wanted to, try out for track, preferably cross country. And so there I was, I went out, decided to try out, and the coach pretty much said to us, if you can run around the track 2 miles, give me 2 miles around the track. If you can do that, you can make the team. And not only that, I can trust you to run out in the community, because, for the cross country runners, we would run around in the town, okay, or in the city. That's what we would do. None of us really ran out on the track. And so basically that's what I had to do. I had to put my 2 miles in on the track field before I could run with the other group. And so anyway, this particular day, I'm trying to get these 2 miles in. I promise you I'm trying to get these 2 miles in on the track. And of course, it's after school, and there's about to be a football game. Oh my gosh. So people are pretty much coming in, to the game. Like they're coming in. The game is about to get started. So people are finally coming in. And there I am. I still got my behind out there on the track field trying to get these 2 miles in. And I remember I stopped. I was like, man, like I just, I was just tired. This was my first time, trying out for a sport. I'm running. I'm tired. There's just no way I'm gonna get these 2 miles in, right? So my coach, oh Lord, he comes up to me, and by this time the benches, the visitor side is filling up. The visitor side of the benches, they're filling up. So he comes up to me, he stops me, and he pretty much right there in front of everybody, he tells me, he was like, I was like, I can't do it. He was like, you either give me these 2 miles on this track or you can turn your shirt in. That's how he was, like right there in front of everybody. I was like, oh my gosh, my feelings are hurt. I guess I'm being rebuked, if you will, in front of everybody. And then it's like, it sits into me like, man, I'm going to fail. This is embarrassing. Number one, I want to run track. I want to run cross country. That's for sure. I decided to do it. Number two, 2 miles, you guys, is not necessarily an easy thing to do. I know everybody's like, what? I can run 2 miles. I'm in high school. I've never did this before. I'm probably maybe in the 9th or 10th grade at the time. So I really want to do this. And I'm feeling like I'm not going to achieve it. And then he's telling me in front of everybody, like, He's not embarrassing me. He's not. I don't feel embarrassed by him. I feel embarrassed, period, that I can't do it. He done told me around everybody else, and I'm going to see people. People are going to see me fail, right? So anyway, I suck it up right there in front of everybody, and I just take off and start running again, and my feelings are hurt. Like I said, not so much by him, but it's because I'm like, man, I have to do this. And I didn't want to run around, people were at the game. It was the game. It was the football game, high school football game. Everybody going to the high school football game. Come on now, y'all. So anyway, so eventually I did. I finished, I finished. And I was just feeling like, man, I'm embarrassed, but I got it done, so on and so forth. I didn't care. The game was going on. It didn't matter, at all to me. I didn't even stay for the game. I was like, man, you know what? I'm gone. So I guess the question is, when do you know you're ready? How do you know someone is ready? And I know when it comes to the church, I know a lot of people, some churches, they're not as old school as they used to be from, stories that I would hear, especially, being a big fan of the Clark sisters, so on and so forth. And everyone's talking about how their mother was, Dr. Maddie Moss, how she was as far as, being very strict, with, the choir and so on and so forth. And so maybe people are not being publicly rebuked in that area. It's basically saying, get it right. This sound needs to sound this way, so on and so forth. But when you think about people who do things like that, from your teachers and your instructors, if it's something you want to learn and master, I like to think that you're going to sit down and shut up. I do. This how you want me to do it? Oh, okay. Yeah, somebody, you know what your professor, is basically trying to tell you need to structure the song, the paper this way, so on and so forth, and you want to write, you're going to do that. The football coach is telling you need to, throw it this way. I'm trying to get you to learn a particular technique, so on and so forth. Then this is what you to do. Like I said, that I think that's why I agree with her, coming from a place where you are looking for your teacher, your instructor, your voice teacher, your piano teacher, instructor, giving you lessons. Sometimes that can be kind of tough. And it's like, hey, you got to be on this thing. You have to know what you're doing. And the same thing comes in when it comes to, singing the gospel, So, what, you know what? Oh. You know what? I didn't think about something. I'm thinking about it. You guys. I'm sorry. So if I agree with kimburrell now, then what was the issue then about the guy who she... I'm sorry. I don't mean to. So what was the issue we was... I'm sorry. What was the issue we was having with her, with the young man on Sunday best? Was that, because everybody was upset at her, during Sunday best and what she had to say. I guess she basically says, son, it's not fully developed. You can't do it. I don't know. That's interesting. Well, you know what my mother says, and I know you all have heard the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Maybe I have to go back and look at it and see exactly what she said. She said, for it to have offended the young man, at the time. By the way, I wonder what he's doing. But I'm still going to have to agree with her on that. Oh, I guess I know what it is. It's a competition. Oh, you want to encourage people. That's it. It's called encouraging people. Like, okay, you knew you didn't like it. You knew, I'm not, when I say you, I'm talking about Miss Kimburrell. She obviously knew that there were some things that need to be fine-tuned. And since there were some things that needed to be fine-tuned, you know, basically, yeah, this wasn't the time. It's a competition, basically. And people are trying to compete for something that some people probably are not going to achieve. You know, well, achieve as far as winning Sunday best. That's what I mean. But again, the question still comes up and remains, how do you know when you're ready? How? That's the question. Even here with me, you know, starting out doing my channel, you know, of course, there's some things I have to fine tune. There's some things that I know I need to do, but at this moment in time, I have to get started, right? And to me, sometimes, you know, with me, I'm saying to you guys out there, saying to myself, put your behind where your heart desires to be. So I would like to think that if you are a person who wants to be in that desired place, then no matter what someone says as far as critiquing you is concerned, you'll take the critique, you say, oh, okay, well, thank you for that. I'll be mindful to do that next time, so on and so forth. And then you go to and do it because that's something that you have a desire or a passion to do. Child, this is getting kind of interesting. Really? Maybe we need to talk about this a little further. Some more. I don't know. Child, I don't know. Well, Kim, I think it's safe to say you are pretty much right on the money with it. I don't think you offended anybody. As a matter of fact, maybe you also, from what I saw, you didn't give any kind of examples at all, you know, about it as well. It is what it is, child. We're gonna move on from this one, right? I think we had a good stopping place. I'm sorry. I think I'm at a good stopping place. Woo! All right. Safe over here, Kim. Safe. Well, anyway, so if you've gotten to this part of the video, I think it's safe to say, I think it's safe to ask, it's appropriate to ask, you go ahead on. If you like this video, then hit the subscribe button. Why don't you hit the like button as well and leave a comment. What is your thought? What are your thoughts about this? And also, keep in mind, over here, I believe in putting your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. And I want to say that I love you guys so much. I have to, you know, in order to do this. I'm here to tell you this is not an easy thing to do. So I thank you guys so much. I promise you, I thank you so much for your support. Lord knows I do. I know I can't do it without you. So speaking on that, now I understand when I used to get to be in the church and I'm hearing the pastor say, hey, you know, hey, I appreciate your support, so on and so forth. I really can't do this without you. And here I am sitting back thinking like, oh, this man just want my money. Now, you know what? When I'm sorry. But now I understand, like, you know, support people. You know, it's a discernment of spirit you can have. You know, you got to support everybody. You know, you don't know what everybody's doing. But on that note, put your behind where your heart desires to be. I love you guys. Make sure that you're loving yourself as well. Yes. And on that note, I look forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you know what to do out there, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Talk to you later.